All right, people, so we're back on the inside, and we're joined by a gentleman by the name of Mr. Ronald Tegerly, and he is a trauma director with Elder Associates.
Sure.
And we're going to chat with Mr. Tegerly about the spiritual aspect of being resilient, focused, and effective when life and work feel uncertain. So, Mr. Tegerly, morning to you. Good to meet you. And, it was just interesting. I was just talking about a traumatic situation there. And we have a trauma director here. And we're going to deal with, work, when work and life feels uncertain and the spiritual aspect of it. So where do we start with that?
Start with, I'm thinking that we start with the understanding that the whole world is going through a kind of trauma experience.
Okay.
With the wars, with wars in Europe, wars in
Middle East.
Couture here in the Caribbean with Venezuela. The recent thing with all the last meeting of CARICOM.
Yes.
So there's a whole spirit of restlessness, of warring, of fighting. And considering since the Second World War, there have been about 80 years of relative peace in the world.
Right.
And that looking like it's shattered. So
Okay.
that people all over the place are succumbing to a kind of anxiety, a kind of restlessness, a kind of uncertainty about life, about work, about I got to line up for food again, that is happening,
Yeah.
Everybody, wherever you are, you feel that kind of restlessness, that uncertainty, that not sure about, all this money you save and things like that might just go through.
There's a lot of uncertainty in the business sector too.
Line up for food.
Yeah, a lot of uncertainty in the business sector as well, in terms of the economy and things like that. And of course, when you get those concerns, that could lead to job losses, people on the breadline, which brings our whole next, what we could call it, a whole next economical or psychological issue to people's lives. Yeah.
Strain on
Strain,
people.
yeah.
So people have the normal issues of strain around the place, and then this is added to them.
Right.
It's burdensome. It is really burdensome. So the issue here is, how do you stay strong? How do you stay resilient? How do you be well enough to continue on this journey?
Right.
And that brings me to this point that I'm thinking that it is situations like these rough carnage situations, like the situation we just spoke about down south with Sabita Basil. It's situations like these that bring out the best in people. So that this Red Cross man is just being almost God sent. He's almost like a prophet and an angel, so to speak, coming to rescue this. So as that sign I read just out there from Pharrell Williams, the best work comes from people who are motivated by crisis.
Yeah.
So in a moment of crisis, you start to engineer yourself in a different way. Not the normal passage where you get through this. Some new wisdom come into being. And that is the spiritual regeneration, So we could talk about despair, a lot of despair in the place, and hope on the other side. So despair and hope are not opposites, they are partners together.
Okay.
So the greatest hope comes, the deeper the hope comes from the deeper the despair.
The greater the despair.
Yeah. So this despair that's going on in South now.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because for you to reach the point where you have so much despair in your life, to garner that amount of hope.
So you're not setting up yourself to have trauma.
Right.
You're not welcoming trauma. You're not want to go down the road and get a break foot.
Right.
But it happens.
It happens,
It
yes.
happens.
Yes.
And no powers prevent you from getting that break foot when you slip on the pavement.
Well,
I mean,
correct,
nothing prevents you.
Yeah.
You just go on there. And then it is from that you learn how to become resilient. Like that Red Cross man in South. He is now inventing ways to deal with the system that appears so corrupt. And he's now inventing ways and bringing people to the fore, like he's bringing the commissioner out to be in a way that is new and fresh. So it's a crisis is coming there, and new wisdom is shooting up. So hope is not, well, I hope she will be well tomorrow. I hope she will get help and love up by the family. I hope people. This hope now is energy going on. This hope coming up from the Red Cross man is a great hope.
Right.
It is a rebelliousness. So hope is not just a hope, no. Hope is a verb, is an action, it's a resilient going to happen, it's a revolution. He's going to shake up down south, you know.
Right.
He's shaking up police stations and things, oh no. And
So in order for hope to materialize, one cannot just sit down and utter the words, I hope. They have to act in a particular way. You have to do something in order for that hope to materialize.
Yes.
Right.
You can't just sit down and say, I hope that lady will get good help. No. You have to get up and go down there and make sure the Red Cross man get the resources he needs, or the Red Cross man get the contact for the trauma support for the lady, you know, different kinds of, you know. So if you sit down and hope has two parts. It's an expectation and it is a rebellious behavior on the side there. But we get set up by a lot of religions and things like that to say, I will just pray and hope.
When you say set up by a lot of religions, when you say set up, because, okay, well, I'm Catholic, right? So, in terms of faith and that kind of thing, I remember my father always telling me you must have undying faith in God. Yes. Undying faith.
Undying faith.
You mustn't second guess, right? And that is the ultimate test of life, is that things will happen to you in life where you lose faith or hope, right? And it is in those moments that God is testing you to see if you maintain your faith. And through that maintenance of that faith, in that undying faith, your problems will be solved, right? Or a solution will come, right? So when we say we are set up by religions, what do we mean? What do you mean exactly by that?
Well, there's another element that a lot of time is not emphasized enough. That in faith and hope, you have this work that you have to do. You have to get up and do something. You have to get up and help the person down the road. You have to not lay back and say all your prayers. Although I believe in prayers, just like you, you know.
Right.
But that falls short. That falls short all the time. The prayers have to energize you to get up and go down the road like Mr. Red Cross man.
Right.
So he is highly motivated. He must have a strong faith. But he might say, I don't go to church, you know, brother. But he might have a strong faith. Strong faith.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing. Because I've always said, okay, I've always said I have a special relationship with God. People might not understand it. I used to go to church a lot. I don't really go to church now. But I just talk to God in my little pockets and spaces in time. Right? Because I know you can talk to God anytime you want to talk to God. Right?
Yeah.
However, while we talk about hope and undying faith, there is it can't just be that you have undying faith and you wait till things happen, because it also says that God helps those who help themselves.
Yeah.
So one must get up and make that change possible in their life. Whereas in a lot of times when people are living in despair, they tend to give up, and that hope is, they hope it, and that hope becomes something that it's like you're waiting for a phone call. You're waiting for the phone to ring. Or you're waiting for a knock on the door. Or you're waiting for somebody to come and save you. And it doesn't work like that. Right? You have to make somebody call the phone. You have to make somebody come to your door and knock. You know? And that's how it is. You know, I have experienced a lot of people, boy, I don't know what to do, you know. I think, and he plays hard, and work, and and all they're doing is complaining about what not happening for them. Right?
And it is when the excuses and the complaints stop.
Right.
When that stop, as you have a son and all that, when all this complaining and looking stop, energy happens down there somewhere from deep down inside, because
Yeah.
we are kind of created with a power inside, you know. So when that complaining and all that stuff, for instance, there's a story about in North India about a deer that when they reach a certain stage of maturity, they just get going after this, the musk scent. They call it the musk deer. They're going after the scent. And this deer will run. It's a male deer. It will run and run and run, going after the scent, seeking the scent, running off the valleys and mountains and there, and then it will drop in exhaustion. And then drop in exhaustion, his head rests down on his hoofs. He smells the scent musk from his own skin. So he gets the scent of musk from his own skin. That is what he was going after. So I'm trying all of that to say that there's something inside here that we have buckled up and covered up. And we have to, and sometimes despair and trauma and crisis exposes that for it to come out.
Right.
So when that comes out, that's like our true self. We're kind of crowded by all kind of different selves, but the true self is waiting to rise up. You know?
Wow. Okay. So this is in life and in work and everything, right?
Even in work, you know, so work, you're complaining all the time about your boss, or you're complaining about nobody coming to work. A time will come when we just have to look another place for the energy to, you know, from the time you start to complain and dread yourself with that kind of bothersomeness, a new avenue opens. There's a new avenue all the time waiting to open.
Right.
And you're not giving it a chance by your complaint. There's something waiting there to happen, and as you complain, you just cover it up some more. And as you look elsewhere, you cover it up. It's waiting to open. That's like the scent of that, the musk.
Yeah.
You know? It's inside there, but you didn't know it inside there. You didn't believe it inside there.
Yeah, because I think we just get tied up with the complaints, you know. People tend to complain more than find a solution. I mean, even if let's just say something was to go wrong on the show here.
Yeah.
The human being just seems to be, their first reaction is to identify why something can't happen,
Yes.
rather than why it could.
Yeah. We're generally so negative all the time. And
Yeah.
this is how we are. This is how we are, generally speaking. We have 100 issues why this can happen. And then something happens. We are like that. But so we have to be like a ninja to protect we joy.
No,
because we have no joy. We have no joy. We have no charity. Thing. We have to learn how to do that and to protect it. Otherwise, we spend the whole life complaining.
That is right. I mean, I have had in the last X amount of years, or even in life, whether it is life or work or whatever, like I just said, people complain about everything. And when you ask them what they do, okay, like I will be sitting here, and I'm sitting here, and we'll take some phone calls. And sometimes you will get the odd caller that will call and say, well, Stefan, I ain't get my pension yet, or something to that effect, right? And because we deal with people with problems like that on a daily basis, right? Everybody has a problem, right? Okay, so what did you do? Did you inquire why I didn't get it yet? Did you go back down to the office? Did you, right? What have you done to follow up on finding out the status of your pension? And sometimes they haven't done the correct thing, because sometimes they don't know what the correct thing is. They don't know the procedure or whatever, so they're looking for help from somewhere, but they haven't really got up for themselves and done it. It's the same thing. People who might have a little problem in the community will call a talk show. And that's not to say that we offended by that, or I haven't been to offend anybody. But I've always told them, okay, you call, all right, all right. Did you go to see your MP? Because your first stop's supposed to be your member of parliament, right? Did you go to, no, well, I ain't go to see my MP, I doesn't see them, so ting. Okay, but if you haven't taken that step, how you reach here? Right? Because I can't go and say no, well, you have a problem because you talked to your MP, the MP did nothing about it, and now I'm trying to find a solution for you. You had to go through that channel first. So sometimes people might know what to do. They don't take the time to learn and inform themselves on what to do, and then they depend on other people to do it for them, right? And then on the negative aspect of things, where people won't focus on the negative, I think that's where the spiritual side of things come in, because once you have a spiritual peace, solutions come to you naturally, almost, you know.
Right. So
I've realized that in life.
Right. So generally, we have a spiritual problem in the world.
Yes, yes,
Because
yes.
we don't have- and spiritual not necessarily mean holy. Spiritual means that energy from our own spirit.
Yeah.
We just get blocked out. So I'm not finding the correct step, because my spirit get distracted by, oh, they ain't gonna take me on because I live in the
Right,
classmates.
yeah, yeah.
So there's a spiritual problem because we are contaminated or distracted by what's going on in the place.
Right. Well, everything with every reason why something cannot happen.
Yes.
We are always distracted by that. You know what I mean? And sometimes you need to see a positive mindset, and you walk in, you pick up the phone and you make the call with a positive mindset, and lo and behold, things happen for you.
Things happen all of a sudden. Things happen
Yeah.
when you press. So there are blockages all around the place
Yeah.
that preventing this true spirit of myself to come out.
Yes.
All kind of thing. When my mother go say, or my teacher they tell me from small, or my boy, you know, we just have to please a whole set of people from
Yeah.
small, and we just waiting for that energy that get come out.
Okay. All right. Well, we just out of time, but any final thoughts or words?
My final thing that I was thinking about is that in our history, the world history, for instance, the invention of blues music came out of Africans in the States picking tobacco as slaves, and then
Right.
when they come in the night, they start to sing.
Right.
Jazz music came out of that same amount of pain and struggle and things like that. So they went and danced and played music in the night, and they invented something.
Right.
I am thinking that the steel band started here because the officers and the police generals didn't want any noise. And the fellas protesting because Tambu Bamboo wasn't making enough noise, so they had to hit pan
Okay.
hard, they had to knock, and they invented some. So I'm trying all that to say that out of this mess and this pain and this hurt, there's a possibility, there's a key somewhere, there's a formula, I think on the wall there's an equation for success in every obstacle. That's Pharrell Williams on the wall. There's
Okay.
there's a
That's
formula.
on the board outside.
Yeah, right.
Okay, right.
There's a formula.
Yeah, I'm not in the corridor
There's
outside.
a
Yeah.
formula for success in every obstacle,
All right.
in every trauma. That's why I like trauma work, because in the trauma work, you sometimes see a golden thread coming out there. And if you just pick that golden thread, you could rise up
Okay.
to greatness.
All right.
It is in that crisis going down in South. Something could happen there with the Red Cross man that could change this whole country.
The whole-
yeah.
yeah.
So it is in moments of crisis and trials and tribulation and stress and uncertainty, the possibility exists for us to be hopeful and to start a revolution.
Okay. All right. So, people, you heard it. We want to thank Mr. Ronald Tiggerly for joining us from Elder Associates. And, you know, they drop in from time to time with some very interesting discussions. And, you know, we wish them the best. And we wish you the best. Thanks a lot for a good conversation.
Thanks.